Have you ever read or looked at a Phase I environmental site assessment and wondered why something called a REC shows up even when the property might otherwise look completely fine? And have you ever stopped and thought, is this something that could derail my project? A lot of people get nervous when they see RECs because they're actually not sure what they mean. So today we're going to break down in plain language what a REC is, the different types that you might see, and what happens when a REC shows up. By the end, you'll know what's serious, what's routine, and what really matters for your property transaction. Hi there, I'm Doug Ruhlin from RMA, your environmental experts. If you ever need a hand understanding a Phase I or getting one done, you can always reach out to us here at RMA. All right, let's jump in. So let's start with the basics. A REC, short for Recognized Environmental Condition, is simply the presence or likely presence of hazardous substances or petroleum products due to a release, signs of a release, or something that could pose a material threat of a future release to the environment. In plain English, something happened or might have happened, and that's worth paying attention to. That could be from an old spill, a former tank on site, or even activities on a neighboring site. ASTM, the group that sets the Phase I standards, breaks these conditions into three buckets. First, a REC is the present concern, evidence of a release, or something that could possibly indicate a release. Think of this as the new discovery category. Second, historical RECs, or HRECs, is a past release that was fully cleaned up and closed out by the regulatory agency at a past point in time. No restrictions, no ongoing issues. It's basically the it happened but it's been taken care of category. A controlled REC, or CREC, is the past release that was addressed to the satisfaction of regulators, but some contamination is allowed to remain in place under specific controls. That could look like a cap over contaminated soil, restricted excavation, or limits on installing drinking water wells. This is the contamination might still exist to some extent, but regulators are aware and it's actively being managed group. Now, I don't want to split hairs and overcomplicate the matter, and I've already said there are three types of REC. That's not actually technically accurate. There's really only two types of RECs. They are the RECs and the CRECs that we talked about. HRECs, technically by the ASTM definition, are not RECs. So really, our main concern are RECs and CRECs, where HRECs is something to identify, but not to be overly concerned about right from the get-go. Now here's the part that most people wonder about. What actually happens when a REC is identified? In some cases, you might need what's called a Phase II environmental site assessment. Think of a Phase I as the detective work. It gathers information, records, interviews, historical data, and a site inspection. A Phase II is the hands-on science. That's where the sampling, drilling, and lab analysis comes in to figure out whether contamination is actually present and to what extent. So yes, a REC might lead to a Phase II, but it absolutely does not mean you're guaranteed to need one. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in environmental due diligence. A REC is simply a flag. It tells you something is worth paying attention to. But whether it needs further investigation depends upon context. What the REC is, how severe it might be, what the property will be used for, and how regulators typically interpret situations like this. Unfortunately, we've seen situations where other consulting firms treat RECs as automatic green lights to move on to a Phase II, which are usually considerably more expensive than a Phase I. Sometimes this happens because the Phase I was priced super cheap, and the consultant expects to make their money on the back end with drilling and sampling. Suddenly, a simple REC turns into a very expensive decision, and you feel stuck. This isn't how we operate here at RMA. We take a risk-based approach to evaluating every REC we identify. We find RECs during Phase I environmental site assessments all the time. It's normal. But we don't jump straight to recommending Phase II services unless there's a clear, defensible reason to do so. If the risk is low, if the history makes sense, or if the condition is manageable without Phase II work, we'll tell you that. We only recommend Phase II work when it's truly needed and when the Phase I truly supports it. And since due diligence also comes down to budgeting, let's talk quickly about cost. Phase I environmental site assessments can vary in price depending upon the property size and complexity, but we try to make planning simple. We even built a pricing calculator on our website where you can get an instant estimate. No forms, no emails, no annoying follow-ups. It's just a tool to help you get a sense of what you can expect. Look, if you're staring at a REC in your report and wondering what it really means, take a breath. RECs are common. They're part of the process. What matters is having someone who can help you understand the real-world risk, not just the acronym. So if you're looking for a Phase I, or you just want a second opinion or need help moving forward, just reach out to us here at RMA. We're always here to help.